Wrestling. I'm going to hop into that, but first, I'm going to give some very quick overriding thoughts on Bound for Glory, and I'm not going to waste any more of your time. If you're a wrestling fan, feel free to like this video or hit that like button on this video. Willie Mack and Rich Swann versus Ethan Page and Matt Sydal, had a brain fart there. But I really like this match. It was what I thought it would be completely. X Division match, high flying, tag team match, great action, fast pace. That's what the X Division is all about. Phenomenal closing stretch in this match as well. We had Mack hitting the stunners, and I really enjoyed this match. Willie Mack and Rich Swann picks up the win. The Mack grabs the mic after the match. You know, the Mack can be kind of rough on the mic, but he's very charismatic. So I really enjoyed that as well. They picked up the win. Phenomenal match. Next up, we had Eli Drake in the Open Challenge. Now, a lot of people were out there saying, okay, this is Chris Jericho's opportunity. Jericho is going to show up here. If you watched Impact before Bound for Glory, Eli Drake said it had to be a New Yorker. So, at that point, I knew that, it's not going to be Jericho. There was a point in the show where I was like, okay, maybe it's happening right now. But it wasn't this point. Eli Drake issues the Open Challenge. Out comes James Ellsworth, of all people. Said he's not from New York, but he dated a girl from Staten Island. The crowd was just not having James Ellsworth. Got some very unsavory chants towards James Ellsworth. And I was very worried that James Ellsworth would pick up the victory here because in my preview video, I said that whoever answered the Eli Drake Open Challenge would go on to pin him and win. So I was very worried at that standpoint. But in 2 minutes or so, Eli Drake picked up the victory. Gravy train, get you out of there, James Ellsworth. And he won the real challenge. And I thought this was well done. Abyss comes out, puts him through a table, and I liked every bit of that. Abyss comes out and lays him. So next up, we had Tessa Blanchard versus Taya Valkyrie. These ladies had great chemistry out there. I highly enjoyed this match. If it wasn't for two matches, I'd say it was the match of the night. It was the third best match of the night in my opinion, but it was fantastically done. Well done. There were various points in the match to where I'm watching the match and I'm like, okay, it may be over here. STF by Taya. It looked like she may get a tap out win there. The road to Valhalla, to where the ref didn't get to the count in time. Looked like Taya had it there. But the ultimate point of the match to where I thought it was completely done was when Tessa Blanchard hit the buzzsaw DDT. After, that was a heavily protected move. So before the 3 count, or before the count even went down before 3, I looked away, got my phone, was about to tweet, this is an excellent match. And I didn't hear a 3 count. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And it was very surprising to see her not get the win with the buzzsaw DDT. A great touch, great booking right there because everybody thought it was over. The crowd popped. So the end of the match, the super cold breaker from the top rope, I loved every bit of that. Tessa Blanchard, the walking mean streak, the current Knockouts champion, picks up the victory. This was a phenomenal match. Well done, ladies. Phenomenal chemistry by both ladies. Tessa Blanchard, the best women's wrestler on the planet. The total package when it comes to promo, when it comes to ability in the ring wrestling ability, and when it comes to charisma. She's the best. I'm sorry. She's the best. So next up, we have Moose and Eddie Edwards. And this one ended early because Killer Kross decided to get involved. And I got to say, if there was one match or one moment in the night where I thought it was meh, it was this match or this moment. Killer Kross gets involved. And it gets turned into a tag match because Tommy Dreamer makes the save for Eddie Edwards. And it's Dreamer and Eddie Edwards versus Moose and Killer Kross. And it's not that this match was bad. It's just that, okay, Moose and Eddie Edwards had a pretty good feud going. I was expecting a phenomenal match. And we got the switch on this match, which I didn't like at all. The match was decent enough, but meh. It was meh. Eddie Edwards and Tommy Dreamer picked up the win. I would have much rather it been Moose versus Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards gets the win, to which we've been building towards that storyline with Moose and Eddie Edwards for quite some time now. Moose turned his back on Eddie Edwards. But it is what it is. The tag match wasn't bad. It was just, eh. So, moving on. We had the OVE rules match. Now, I picked this to be the match of the night in my predictions. OVE versus the Lucha Brothers and Brian Cage. And this match lived up to the billing, baby. Everything, every spot you want to see. OVE versus Lucha Brothers and Brian Cage. Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory review here on YouTube. I'm on you now as well. Phoenix was just phenomenal in this match. Had a handspring headbutt, to which I saw that and I was like, I've never seen that before in my life. There were two spots where I said, I've never seen that before in my life. That was one of them. We had the double stump package power driver that the Lucha Brothers always do. And Cage back body dropping Jake Christ from the inside of the ring to the outside was like, really? Did he really just do that? Cage always does some stuff like that to where you're like, okay, he didn't just do that. And he did. So looking at the end of the match, surprise, surprise, Brian Cage takes a million super kicks and Brian Cage takes a pinfall loss, his very first pinfall loss in Impact Wrestling history. I was just shocked. It was, I don't want to say that it was Undertaker-esque when Undertaker lost his streak at WrestleMania, but it had the same effect to where I wasn't even attention to the pin count. Like I didn't entertain it. And like when the three count went down, like I didn't notice it till 2 seconds later. I was like, well, what happened? Oh, he lost. What? And that's the kind of effect that it had. I'm pretty sure it had an effect on everybody like that. It's like, well, the match is over? I can't believe it. Brian Cage lost. So that was a phenomenal match. OVE picked up the victory, got some momentum going for him right there. I'm pretty sure we'll see an OVE Brian Cage feud going forward. This will continue on. And Sami Callihan versus Brian Cage, I'm pretty sure that'll be for the X Division title. We'll see how it all shakes out. So moving on, we had the Concrete Jungle Street Fight, LAX versus the OGs. LAX minus Conan at the beginning of the match because King took him out. This was something. Looking at the beginning of this match, they panned to the ring and I'm like, oh crap. They're going to wrestle on boards. And I was still starting to worry for the health of the wrestlers because, man, the ring mat is hard enough. Let's know the board under it. And the dangerous thing about this match was, an dangerous consequence was the boards kept sliding back and forth in the match. And I was thinking, oh, man. supposed to be all of those things. We had going into wrestling. Kira Hogan, they were trying to get out of there. Return, bro. How about all caps with exclamation points? She back, and it turns out that Rosemary stayed in the underrealm. Allie and Kira escaped back to the normal realm, and Allie just snapped at Kira when she tried to tell her that everything was okay. Allie was like, "It's not okay." I was like, "Whoa, okay." So this was well done. Bit wacky, but that's what it was supposed to be. That's what they were shooting for. I enjoyed it very much. So moving on to the main event of the night, Austin Aries versus Johnny Impact. Boy, they've wonderfully worked this. Was it a work? Was it a shoot? The original question of this video. The main event was great. Had some stiff shots in the beginning. Where Johnny Impact balanced himself on the ring and the barricade, which led to a Pele kick, was just stupendous. Haven't seen anything like that in my wrestling life. 30 years of watching wrestling, have never seen it. Austin Aries even whipped out the 450. You don't see him do that much anymore. I enjoyed that as well. And arguably the spot of the night was the Spanish Fly by Johnny Impact. That could have ended the match right then and there, but it didn't. I love the Aries dive into Talia, to which that led to Johnny Impact regaining control, and he hit the finisher for the win and the Starship Pain for the win, and he is our new Impact World Champion. And I gotta say that, looking at, and a lot of people missed this, by the way, looking at Killer Kross and Moose come down the ringside, my first thought was, okay, didn't they have a handshake agreement that Killer Kross and Moose wouldn't come to ringside? Then I see Talia at ringside, and the first thing I thought was, oh man, interference. It's going to be another bit to break Bound for Glory that's going to be ruined by interference in the main event. And they played it wonderfully. They made you think about all of the bells and whistles, but they didn't have any of the bells and whistles at all. And it was just a straight up man-on-man match. Johnny Impact was the better man that night, and he pulled it off. After the match, Austin Aries flips off Don Callis, excuse me. He no-sells. As soon as the 3 count went down, 1, 2, 3, no-sold the Starship Pain. He jumped right up, flipped off Don Callis, and stormed out of the ring. Middle fingers blazing to the crowd. And look, is it a work or is it a shoot? They have so many people. Hook, line, and sinker in this storyline. And I gotta say that, to answer the question, it's totally a work. 30 years of watching wrestling. Look, I'm not on the inside, but I just have wrestling fans' intuition. And I trust it every time. It screams out to me that it's a work. It's a work because, looking at it overall, I don't even think they would have I thought that the exchange that they had on Twitter, that was work. They were in on it. I just thought that Austin Aries took it a wee bit too far. They were all in on that. Second of all, you really think that they would really let, if there was really some animosity between Austin Aries and Johnny Impact, you really think that they'd let them go at it that Saturday night at a business ceremony or an induction for Abyss? You really think they'd let that happen on Saturday night at that moment in time? No, they wouldn't let that happen unless it was a work. Number 3, on the broadcast, Don Callis mentioned, well, you know, I was there for Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. You know, it's animosity between these two guys. He would not mention Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels if these guys were really going at it. Like, the last thing people want to mention as a shoot is another shoot. You know, we're going to relate this to another shoot, and, you know, this is really a shoot. No, it's a work. They're working you. But what it is a phenomenal storyline. They've done an excellent job. I wish they would have went to this sooner. God, honestly, I wish they would have went to it sooner. Like the time when Johnny Impact first won the title, I wish we would have started the storyline just like that. We would have really built into this moment. However, what they have done by starting this work shoot storyline late in the build towards Bound for Glory, they've set it up for the rematch. And now, when you go all the way into left field, you got to keep going at this point. Austin Aries has to have a promo to which he rips. He has to have a work shoot promo. Got to rip management. Got to rip Johnny Impact. Got to rip anything that you want. Just got to let Austin Aries go out there and say what he feels. Kind of like Paul Heyman. There's this lesser known promo that Paul Heyman has. It was on a SmackDown back in 2002, 2003 or whatnot. It was a work shoot promo on Vince McMahon. Talk about how he stole his ideas. Talk about how he stole his wrestlers. Talk about how he made Taz a punk. And it was phenomenal. If you YouTube Paul Heyman work shoot SmackDown, it's probably still up there, but I'm not sure. But that's what Austin Aries has to come down and do. Let him have a work shoot. Let him say how he really feels about everything and everybody. And then cut the mic off. And now think about it, kind of CM Punk-esque. But you have to go into left field. You're already in left field. You have to go further at this point. Eventually, we have to lead up to a rematch with Austin Aries and Johnny Impact. Doesn't have to be anytime soon, but that has to happen. Austin Aries has the rematch clause anyway, so it's going to go down. You have to have that happen, but you really got to, if you're going to do with the work shoot stuff leading into Bound for Glory, weeks before Bound for Glory, you got to keep it going because people are fully invested into this, whether they hate it or they like it. The majority likes it, and the majority, and I like this from a wrestling standpoint. There's nothing wrong with fans getting hooked into a wrestling storyline. It creates emotion, and then emotion creates a point of a storyline to which you're rooting for somebody or which you hate somebody, and that's what wrestling is all about. You're supposed to root for somebody. You're supposed to boo for somebody, and that's what we have people doing here. People hate Austin Aries. They love Johnny Impact. It's working phenomenally. Impact Wrestling, officials, Don Callis, whomever, keep it up. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. I love every bit of it. It's a work, but I hope that they keep it going. So that's my thoughts on Johnny Impact and Austin Aries. That's my thoughts on Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory. I enjoyed it. Did it live up to the hype? I didn't think it was better than Slammiversary, but it did deliver. It did live up to the hype. They wasn't a one-hit wonder. They did a phenomenal job. I enjoyed every bit of it. Let me know what you thought about Bound for Glory, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on You Now, or on Twitter at OMGCoreyB or at 2SweetPod. Let me know. And on that note, I am out.